All right, looks like we're live. What's up, guys? Hopefully you guys are doing good tonight. Hopefully you guys are feeling good. I had to get my chat set up so I can actually see the questions. Pop out chat. It should do it right there. So we'll set that like that. All right. Everybody hear me okay? Let me know in the comments below if you can hear me. So who do we have tonight? We got City Sticker Chris. What's up? We have Outdoor Jay. What's up, buddy? Hunting with Preston. Congratulations on your buck, Preston. Woo Day. That's right. Jay, my failure was not planning enough. The turkeys are destroying one of them. Hunting with Preston, my failure was too hot. Yeah, so a lot, or tonight, welcome to the live stream, obviously. Thank you for joining in. If you could do me a favor and share this out with your friends, family, and get some people in here. So I just wanted to come live tonight. Hunting season's getting ready to kick in. It's already started here in Maryland. I have not been out yet. It's been very warm, and I've just kind of been busy, you know. So I plan on going out Wednesday night. There's a cold front or cool front coming in, so I'm going to start hunting Wednesday in Maryland. We have Pennsylvania season coming up here in the next, I think, 2-3 weeks. We'll be hunting there, but things are going to start rolling here, and I wanted to come live to you guys tonight to wish everybody luck this season and to talk about food plots, upcoming deer hunting trips that you're taking, and obviously Q&A. You guys can ask questions. I may not have an answer for everything, but I'll try to help you out the best I can. Who else we have? Living Everyday Outdoors. What's up, Jay? Charlie, what's up, buddy? Starting Traditions Outdoor Two Brothers. What's going on, man? So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them away with food plots, hunting strategies, whatever, and then we'll roll through, and we'll start answering some questions. Dalton, what are your thoughts on planting fruit trees plots for bringing in deer? I think fruit trees obviously have their place. Nut trees as well, like persimmons, pear trees, apple trees, anything that you can do to put on your property to attract deer. The problem with that is I see a lot of people just planting fruit trees, and it's not really a problem, but when you're planting and trying to attract deer, you want to plant something that's continuous, that continues to produce for many months out of the year. Fruit trees and everything only produce fruit for a very short amount of time, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months at tops. So when that food's gone, then what do you have? You have nothing. You're left with nothing. So I think fruit trees can be added to your food plot program or whatever it is that you're doing, because food plots are there for many more months out of the year than fruit trees. But fruit trees and nut trees can be added in, I think, but I wouldn't just do fruit trees. I would make sure that you're planting food plots. If you can't do food plots, then sure, plant fruit trees. But when that fruit is gone, then you got nothing. Hey Chris, hey Dave, hope you had a safe trip back from Kentucky. We didn't end up meeting up. I tried a couple times to get a hold of you. Yeah, so I was in Kentucky over the weekend, guys, and I literally had zero time. We just basically worked all weekend. My phone service was in and out, and I had a 10-hour drive there and it was a very short trip. I drove up Friday night, and we worked all day Saturday, till late at night. Went to sleep, got up super early Sunday morning, did some more work, and then I drove home 11 hours last night. I didn't get home till almost 11 o'clock, and I crashed. So that's where I was this past weekend. And if my eyes look runny and blur and red, It's because whatever was in Kentucky, whatever weed or grass was out there, I was allergic to it, and it screwed me up. My eyes are itchy and everything. It's been a mess. Uh, Bama Fever. How much seed do you usually broadcast on a 1 acre food plot? What kind of seed? Need to know what kind of seed to know how many pounds to put down. J5 Outdoorsman. Can hear you great. Do you have any advice on early season calling? Thanks for the good luck, and good luck to you as well. I'm actually not a huge fan of calling deer. I don't like the rattle. Sometimes it works. And if you're hunting non-pressured areas, rattling can be very effective, and grunting as well. But typically I don't call. Sometimes I do. I don't do it in the early season. If I do call, it'll be toward the end of October, early November, when the rut's kicking in, pre-rut. But I don't call to deer unless I plan on shooting that deer, because you have to remember, all those deer, people are using those calls all the time, so those deer hear that, and most of the times, if it's in pressured area, it spooks them. So it's just from my experience. I don't like calling. I will call, obviously, if there's a buck out there and it's going the opposite way, then I want to try to do something to try to bring them in. But I'm not calling deer just to call. It's going to be for a reason, or out of like desperation, where the buck that I'm trying to shoot or something is going the opposite way, and I need them to come this way. Then I want to do everything that I possibly can to try to turn them around. So then I will call. Toxic. I made some mock scrapes like you told me, and they use them like crazy. That's awesome. I love mock scrapes as well. I usually start them around July, August, somewhere around there. Love making mock scrapes. I usually put maybe one in like a food plot, one in a travel area from bedding to feeding. That's always a good area. You can put them around a food plot, in a food plot, to help give a close bow shot. Also, what I like to do is when you make a food plot, if there's like a small tree or something that you can leave in that plot, and that way you don't have to plant one or something to make a mock scrape in your food plot. I like leaving that tree there, cutting all the branches except one branch. That way they have to use that branch. So you cut all the ones below that and above that. That way that branch sticks out for a licking limb, and I like doing that. Bama, wheats, oats, rye, and some crimson clover. You could probably, what I would do is probably do about, if it's 1 acre, I would do about 100 pounds of wheat, 50 pounds of rye, and 50 pounds of oats. The crimson clover, you could add probably about maybe 4 pounds, 5 pounds, something like that. You don't want too much in there. But yeah, I would do 100 pounds of winter wheat, 50 pounds of oats, and 50 pounds of rye. That should fill in nice. Starting tradition outdoors with two brothers. I plant my food plots with a garden tractor, and I have to redo because of turkeys. Do you think it will bother the deer? Our season has already started here. I mean, it might, but go ahead and do what you got to do, and then get out of there and just give it a couple days or a week or something to rest up. But I don't think it'll really mess things up too much. Jason, what's up, buddy? Long time no see. What's happening? Food plots look awesome. Thank you, Jason. I haven't seen Jason, feels like, in like a year, but he's back. Chris Hall, how do I get my hands on some antler grow? Just planted some clover, greens, and chicory. Going to need to follow up fertilizer later, but want to switch to foiler, not granular. What do you think? Chris, you can go to antlergrow.com. It's always free shipping. Actually, it's funny. I just had a guy call me, I don't know, an hour ago, and he was asking to buy antler grow. I said, I can't remember his name, but I said, I said, I don't sell it. I said, I use it, but I don't sell it. And I said, you just go to the website and order it. and he said he's been trying to call around, multiple places all day to try to find some like a person that sells it. I said, well, you have to, you get a hold of the owner from through the website, or you can just order it right online. I said it's free shipping, but yeah, foiler feeding. Who asked that? Chris Hall. Foiler feeding is very good, but you have to make sure that like Antler Grow already has it in there. But if you're doing that, Antler Grow already has that sticker and surfactant in there, and it's all chelated minerals. So when you foiler feed that plant, it's 100% available. That plant can use 100% of that, and it can rain 2 minutes later, and it's not going to wash off. So you'll be good. Granular is okay as well. Everything has its place. What I like to do when planting a food plot, like on the initial planting, I'll cut down, like if it's recommended 300 pounds per acre, I'll cut down to like 100 pounds or like 150 pounds. That way you're saving money on the fertilizer end at planting. And then once that establishes, I'll come back in and foiler feed with the Antler Grow and the NPK mixed together. So it saves you on the front end and the back end. Jeremy, what's up, brother? Do you think it's too late to put in a water hole? I do not think it's too late to put in a water hole at all. You put them in really anytime, really, as long as the ground's not frozen. Go ahead and do it. J5 Outdoorsman, thank you, bless you, and your hunts to come. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Chris, we need rain bad down here in Kentucky, and I figured you was busy, but just get with me on your next trip down here to get together. I will be coming down 3rd week of November. I will be there for about, I think, almost 10 days. So, but yeah, just remember that. I'll be down there for 3rd week of November for about 10 days. And Kentucky, Midwest and everything is super dry. I was out there and it's just so dry. I feel bad. We were driving around in all the tobacco fields and everything, and they don't have, they didn't set themselves up with irrigation and stuff, and it's just super dry. All the tobacco, it's bad. Jason, yeah, it's been a while. Steve Porter, what's up, Steve? Chris, I've talked to some of the farms nearby and I've seen some sign of EHD. Hope it don't hit my farm. Yeah, man, that would suck really bad. I hope not. Bama fever. If your pH level is low and you spray your food plot with Antler Grow, will it give it a better, sweeter taste? Absolutely. Because you're bypassing the soil. Bama fever. So it's always best to optimize your soil pH. So that's always your base. But when you do that, when you do spray the plant itself, your plant is ingesting that through the leaves. So doesn't care what the soil is. So it will help that plant 100%, but it's not going to be like the best to where, if your pH was optimal, then you spray, then you're way up here. So you're going to be down here, then you spray, you're going to be here. You see what I'm saying? So it will help bypass the soil and it will make that plant sweeter, more nutritious, but it's always best to start with that base with your pH. Garden Tradition Outdoors, what do you use on your mock scrapes to get them started? Usually I'll just put some buck urine in the scrape itself, and then up in the licking branch I'll hang a wick and I'll use pre-orbital. I started using pre-orbital last year because usually I wouldn't really mess with it, and I would just put buck urine in there in the scrape itself, but now I use pre-orbital, and now it just takes everything to like the next level. Outdoors J, do you believe ATV riding to stand pushes deer? I 100% think it does. I actually made a video about that like 3 years ago, talking about that topic, because at that time there was a bunch of people asking questions about it. But I used to hunt this property 4 or 5 years ago, and the owner used to ride his four-wheeler through directly through the center of the property, across the field, early morning, and then back up to the other side of the woods there. And I always thought it was crazy. And because deer can get used to noises and tractors and things like that, but it's just something about that four-wheeler. They know, they correlate that to hunting season, because majority of when that happens is during gun season. You get the gun hunters that come in and they get on their four-wheelers and buggies and they ride to the stand. And I definitely think it pushes deer. It definitely spooks deer. Like I said, I made a video about that a few years ago, but yeah, definitely think it spooks deer, 100%. Kyle Bevis, what's up, buddy? We are having a touch of EHD on Southern Tennessee farm. Already had a few does found in the creeks. That sucks, man. It's so dry. Jake, hey Dave. Hey Dave. Just wanted to say that I put some implements to use that you suggested, and doing very well with everything. Just wanted to say thanks, man. No problem, Jake. Glad it's all working out for you. Bama, awesome. Thanks for all your help, bro. No problem, man. Thank you for the question. Living every day outdoors. Tell Bama Fever how the deer hung around where you spray versus where not sprayed. Yeah, Bama, real quick with that, it's a funny story. When I first started using Antler Grow, it was the very first season, and I was spraying through like the spring and through the summer, just everything I could possibly reach. Well, one of the owners, Jeff, actually was, just told me, he's like, hey, a week before bow season or something, just spray around your deer stand. I said, okay, I can do that. Well, I sprayed like everything, in front, sideways, underneath. I was going crazy with it. Well, opening day of deer season, I'm sitting in the stand, and I had a bunch of deer come in, and they were directly below me, out in front of me, sideways, and they were eating everything that I sprayed. And I literally couldn't get out of the stand because the deer would not leave. They were there for hours, and it was just funny because, when you're hunting and you see a deer, they don't stand in one spot for hours. They're taking a bite here and they're moving on, a bite here and moving on. Well, I text Jeff. I said, hey, I can't get out of my tree stand right now. And all he wrote back was with laugh out loud with a laughing emoji, because he knew, it was funny. He knew, it's just a funny story when it happened, because I had all these deer and I just could not get out of the stand. And we hear stories about it all the time, but we had a guy come to the Harrisburg show, and it was a huge farm. They had hundreds of acres of soybeans, and there was this little island of woods, and he bought Antler Grow, and he sprayed the island of woods just around the edge. Well, the farmer was noticing all the deer was walking through the soybeans going to this island. So the farmer asked I don't remember his name, but he asked the guy and said, hey, how much corn are you dumping in that island of woods? And he was like, corn? I'm not dumping any corn. What are you talking about? He said, well, every single deer has walked through the soybeans and have went to that island to eat whatever it is that's over there. He's like, yeah, I'm spraying Antler Grow. And the guy's like, Antler Grow? And he's like, yeah. And he just couldn't believe it. But it's just funny stories like that. They bypass, hundreds of acres of soybeans to go to this little patch of woods in the middle of it. Pretty funny. What's up, William? Good evening to you. Coolio will get with you. Then I have November off. Perfect. Bam, that's insane, man. I'm finally going to use it this year. I can't wait to try it. Awesome, man. You will enjoy it. If you follow us on social media like Instagram or Facebook, there's pictures that I post on there, trail camera pictures and stuff. And I just posted a picture on there a couple days ago before me and Chris sprayed and after we sprayed. And you can clearly see, you'll see the color difference in the plot that we sprayed. It's just a super dark green, color to it from before we sprayed. And it's just the nutrients that's in there. And it's pretty cool. Samuel, can you make a mock scrape now? 100%. Make a mock scrape pretty much anytime from like June all the way till whenever. I mean, deer use mock scrapes all the time, even in the winter. So you can make a mock scrape anytime you please. What's your feelings on brushing in your camera? Jake, I really don't think you really need to. As long as that camera is on a tree bigger than the camera, really don't think you have anything to worry about. Each year, cameras get advanced more and more and more. But pretty much all cameras are either low glow or no glow. So I think that those no glow and low glow will be a game changer. I'm already using them, no glow ones, but they work very well. Guys, we have something here. I gotta delete this person because they're making all kinds of weird stuff here. Okay. City Sticker Chris. For everybody that don't know, Chris helps me with food plots and filming and hunting and everything. We kind of work together on that. So if you guys want to subscribe to his channel, we kind of work together with everything. So City Sticker Chris, he's in there in the chat. And we sprayed in the middle of plot where we wanted the deer to stop. Yeah, Chris, that was a good point. We made a video about this last year. What happened was we had a half-acre brassica plot, and we sprayed the outer perimeter with a 1/2 ounce per gallon of antler grow, and then the center with 1 ounce, because that way we made a difference in that plot, and when the deer are browsing through there, they will notice that. So we wanted the center to be more attractive so we could get a shot, and it worked 100%. Jake, is Antlers Grow available in Cabela's Bass Pro Shop? No, sir. It's always online, free shipping. Always online, free shipping. Kyle, noticed in one of your videos where you made a trip here to Bama to purchase a Sad Daddy. I had never heard of them and actually considering making a purchase on one. What town was it you went to? Kyle, I don't remember off the top of my head. If you send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or something, I can get it for you. But actually, if you go to the website, saddaddyhuntingblinds.com, I believe, if you scroll down to the bottom, it gives you the address on there. Actually, I think it was Dadesville, Alabama, I think is what it was. But the address is right on there, and you can check him out. Super nice guy, Joey. Joey Bruce is the owner. I went down there and we hung out for a while. Went to lunch. Super nice guy. Chris, I just started using it this year. I'm 100% believer now and would pay twice as much or more for it. The results are unbelievable with Antler Grow. And Dave, I remember you telling that story. That's awesome, Chris. We hear stories about that all the time. That's awesome. Samuel, have you used Throw and Grow? I used Throw and Grow in years ago from not knowing any better, but Throw and Grow is typically just ryegrass. It's no good for deer. That buck on the bag type seed like that is just no good. I stopped using buck on the bag seed a couple years ago, and it was the best decision I ever made, honestly, because you're paying more cost-wise. You're paying more, and you're getting less seed. And the problem with buck on the bag seeds, especially if it's a mix, is those seeds are different sizes. So when that bag says, covers a 1/2 acre, those seeds are different sizes. So when you go to, spread that out, you have to open your spreader to the largest seed setting. So you're wasting a lot of seed. So, you cover that, yeah, you might be able to cover that half acre, but then you're left with a sprig here and a sprig 6 feet over there and a sprig 6 feet behind. It's not filled in because you had to open your seed setting to the largest setting, so you're left with bare spots. And when you're creating a food plot, you want the most tonnage out of it that you can possibly get. Kyle, and thanks for your replies. Happy hunting to you this season. Yes, sir. Kyle, you too, buddy. City Sticker Chris, Fulton Street, Dadsville or Dadesville, Bama, however you pronounce it. Bama, we buy, Chris as well, we buy all of our seed from, it's no brand, but we buy all of our seed from J&J Feeds and Needs. It's a feed shop in Pennsylvania. We have no deal with them or nothing, but we just buy all of our seed in bulk from J&J Feeds. It's a local place up there. They can get anything you possibly want. But that's kind of how like those feed shops are. If they don't have it there, they can order it. So you can buy a 50-pound bag of oats for, I mean, $12, and then you can go buy a buck on a bag seed that says it covers a half acre and it's got 2 pounds of oats in it. So it's you can do the math there, but buying in bulk seed is way better than buck on the bag seed. Dave and Chris are very helpful and super nice. Keep up the videos and good luck this season. Thank you, Preston. Preston, I'm gonna watch your video too. As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna watch your buck kill. Steve, have you been out? I have not been out yet this year. It's just been super hot, and the older I get, the less that I like sitting when it's 100 degrees outside. But there's a cool front coming in this Wednesday, and I will be hunting Wednesday. Samuel, does Buck Bomb work for you? I've not used Buck Bomb. I've never used Buck Bomb. Would antler grow benefit my plots right now going into the season in 2 weeks, and how fast is the shipping on it? Laval just wanted to get some out there before the season starts. Jake, you can spray anytime as long as that plant is green and growing. Shipping is probably about 3 days depending where you're at. You can order online, free shipping. You can call and order over the phone, but typically about 3 days, and you can spray. As long as that leaf is green and growing, you can spray anything that you want anytime. Bama, yeah, true. That's how it is. My co-op, I just making sure you didn't use one of those name brands. I have in the past, to be honest with you. I used to use that stuff because of the marketing and the placement of the seed, the design of the bag. It gets you, it makes you think that you're buying great seed. And I'm not saying that it's bad seed, but there's cheaper ways to do it, and you get more seed when you're trying to plant a food. You get better results, in my opinion. You're welcome, guys. Samuel Morton, go look up Wind Scent. Jake, thanks for replies, man. Appreciate it. No problem, man. Anytime. Mountain Men of America. Hey, buddy. Central Kentucky here. Just wanted to thank you, buddy, for all your help with my food plots this year. Really had problems in the past that has all been fixed, and the plot is flourishing. Man, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear, man. You're welcome. Any questions, just let me know. Glad it's doing well. Hey, Chris, if you make it down to Kentucky with Dave, you have an open invitation to hunt with Dave and I on the farm. There you go. City Sticker. I think it was Outdoors Jay, I think it was, but he wanted to talk about food plot failures. I don't know if he's still here, but a couple food plot failures that I see typically is one, not doing a soil sample. And I don't know why folks don't want to get a soil sample. I really don't get it. I know people are in a hurry and you just want to throw seed out and you just want it to grow. You could care less about the soil, but in all honesty, the cost of money for fertilizer and seed and you throw it out there and you have bad soil and it doesn't grow, you just wasted, depending on the size of the plot, you just wasted $50, $100. If you just spend $13 to get a soil sample, it would eliminate those failures. And it's just, I know, I get people are in a hurry, and it's just one of those things that people don't want to do, but I highly encourage you to get a soil sample. I have probably 10 videos on my channel about collecting soil samples, getting it tested, and fixing it. And that's probably the number one failure would be pH, not getting a soil sample, whether it's fertility levels or something like that. And people, when they plant, I see a lot of YouTube guys doing this as well. When you plant, people aren't using fertilizer. And when you don't do that, like, there's stuff you need, especially brassicas, you need a lot of fertility for brassicas, especially nitrogen. And when you plant, those brassicas grow and they turn yellow. It's a lack of nitrogen. So you have to make sure that your fertility levels are good, or you'll have poor results. Everything will be shunted, and you won't get the best results. So it's always best to do a soil sample, add that initial fertilizer, and you'll have way better results. I'd say the probably second failure would be sunlight. And I know people don't have a lot of area to do it, fields, open areas, and they want to create these woods food plots. And I've done it in the past. You can do it. We still do it, but you have to have enough sunlight. And I think the number one thing that you will see if you don't have enough sunlight, from my experience, is the plant will actually grow really fast. It'll grow really fast. It'll develop the leaves, but it won't develop a root system. And what will happen is that plant will grow really fast, and then you get like a rain or something, and that plant flops over and it's dead, because it has a weak root system. It has a heavy top and a weak root system. So if you don't have that sunlight to create those vitamins and everything to help develop a root system, it just flops over and you're left with nothing. So you have to make sure that you do get enough sunlight, or you'll have poor results. The third failure that I see all the time is small plots, and people just plant brassicas. And I've talked about this many times. I have a few videos on it. But if you plant just brassicas, obviously there's a lot of factors into it. But if you have a small food plot, a high deer density, if you plant just brassicas, when a deer takes a bite of that, it doesn't grow back. So that brassica is not going to continue to grow. It's gone. So a deer will wipe that out very quick. I mean, depending on your deer density, that could be gone by mid-October, end of October, early November. It could be gone, and then you're left with nothing. So personally, I like to plant mixes. Something that creates a seed head. Seed head is the easiest way to describe it. So wheat, I like planting winter wheat mixed in with brassicas, clovers, and oats. And the reason I like mixes is because everything comes into play at different times of the year. So you have different stages of things. You'll get your winter wheat that'll be hardy and still growing into the later months in winter. You still have your brassicas, you'll have the bulbs as well. And then you got your oats. They'll be the first thing to go. You get your first frost. Those will go dormant and they'll just die. But that winter wheat will hang in there. You can even do winter rye is good for late season, because it does stay green. It's not the preferred species of plant, winter rye, but it does stay green. So that's why you always want to have a mix. My base would probably be from least attractive to most attractive would be winter rye, winter wheat, oats, and brassicas, and then you got your clovers and such. But that's kind of the order on palatability that I would describe it as. But when you're planting those small plots, please always plant a variety of species. Don't just plant one thing, unless you have like a very small deer density and you have huge plots. Then if you want to do just brassicas, that would probably be okay. But I still like adding that winter wheat in there. I also like adding clovers as well to the brassicas, because the brassicas will shade out the clover a little bit, but that clover will get up, 4 or 5 inches. It'll still be palatable, and then when everything else dies off in springtime, you'll get your winter wheat coming back, and you'll get your clovers coming back for turkey season. So if you're a turkey hunter, which I'm a huge fan of turkey hunting, I love turkey hunting, it'll be a good plot for you to hunt around or on in the spring. Jake, are you going to live stream this next hunt? Probably not. Chris Hall, Antler Grow, what's up, buddy? Samuel, does Whitetail Institute food plot work for you? Any seed is going to work, guys. I mean, there's no, it's all pretty much all the same seed. You're just buying, it's just a different company selling it. It's pretty much all the same seed. But yeah, I mean, anything's going to work. JRS Outdoors, thanks for all your tips. I planted Antler King's honey hole and rape and turnip mix, and it's growing very good. That's if the turkeys quit dusting in it. Yeah, turkeys, I had a lot of failures with turkeys over the past. Turkeys will wipe out a plot quick, and I'm gonna tell you a trick for it. I did it this year, it worked. But if you have a plot and you have a lot of turkeys, I don't know what they're called, but you can get them from the dollar store. It's these little spinner wheel things. They use them at like parties, and it's reflective at the top, and it's like a windmill, and it spins. It's got a stem on it you stick in the ground, and that thing will sit there and spin. It's like a party wheel or something. I don't know. You can see them on Amazon. But if you stick those in your plot, that will repel the turkeys. They don't like that reflective. They don't like that motion, I guess. So it will scare the turkeys away. I've done that this year, and it worked. No turkeys, because I had enough turkey failures in the past. You spend a lot of money on seed. You don't want the turkeys to wipe it out. Chris Hall, how long can you expect lime to take effect? I had a 5.7 on soil samples and put required lime on last month. Will it be ready to go for clover come spring? Typically, it's going to take about a year. Depending how many points you're trying to jump. If you're going from like a 5 to a 6, it might take a year. If you're going from a 5 and you're trying to go to a 7, it might take about a year and a half to 2 years. It's baby steps when it comes to changing the pH. It's planting, always keeping something in the ground planted. But it also depends on your soil. You have the cation exchange in your soil. If you get your soil sample, it will be a little spot on there. It'll say cation or cation exchange. If that number is really low, that means that soil can't hold a lot. And it's the same with fertilizer. It's basically like a screen. Everything just runs through it. So if you have a high cation exchange, your soil can hold more. So that plays into effect as well. You can increase that by organic matter, turning things into the soil, things like that, to help build up that organic matter to help that soil, hold more. So your lime can take effect and actually change that soil quicker than it would be if it was very low. So I'd say give it a good year. You should be good. You're already at 5.7, so I'd say springtime, early summer, you might be at a 6.5, but it's plenty enough for clover. You should be good. Living everyday outdoors. Jade, guys, don't forget Antler Grow works on all the natural vegetation too. Yeah, I'll get a lot of emails and questions about that. People just want to spray their food plots, which is very important. But you don't have to do that. I'm not telling you have to use it, but for attractability, taking things to the next level, it's a product that you want to use. But don't forget the browse. I like to keep a buffer area, a little area of browse between the woods line and then the food plot. I have a video coming out this week about that. But I like that browse line. It's like a little staging area before deer come out of the woods. They hit the browse line. It might be 10 feet, 20 feet, something wide, and then they step out into the food plot. It works very well, but I spray all that. They'll sit there and mill around, browse on a little bit. They'll scope things out. They'll look out in the plot, and then they'll work their way out to the center. But don't forget to browse. Good point. City Sticker Chris, good luck, Jay. Don't forget to spray your browse. Yeah. Samuel, do you still make that kill plot you made in 2017 in the woods? I don't hunt that property no more. So no, not on that property. I don't. Chris, a flower bed windmill. That might be it. That could be it. I don't know the exact name. That might be it. But they work very well to scare turkeys away. Or you could get out there with a chainsaw, scare them away, a four-wheeler, chase them off. You can run out your back door, chase them off like Chris does. Chase them around on a scooter, moped, whatever you got to do to chase them away. Chase them with your truck. Another thing, I want to get back to that food plot failure, because I gave you 3 things that I see over the past that fail, but there's a 4th one, and I see it all the time, especially this year. There's a lot of people that's doing no-till plantings, and they're trying to kill the vegetation with an herbicide or something, and they're slinging the seed in, and they're having all these failures. I've seen it all over Facebook, all over YouTube, and they're trying this, and all I can say is disking the ground when you're planting a food plot is not a broken system. I had a video about this, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks ago. It's not broken. Like, farmers have been disking the ground for years before we were even around. So it's not a broken system. When you're trying to build soil, is disking the ground the best method? I don't know. Is it the best for the soil? I don't know. But what I can tell you is it's not a broken system. When you're building organic matter, you're turning in green vegetation, and it turns into soil over time. You're building that soil up. When it decomposes naturally, that plant builds the soil. It releases micro nutrients into the soil, organisms, and things like that. Are you killing earthworms when you disc? You probably are. But the no-till thing, I don't like it. There's people that do it, and it works, but me personally, I don't want to use chemicals, so I steer away from that. And I came out with a video about this a couple weeks ago on how to plant a food plot and not have weeds. Like I said, if you set yourself up in the spring and you disc that ground in, okay, you plant something like buckwheat or something like that, a little heavy, it shades out the weeds. In the spring and summer, are you going to have some weeds? You probably will have some weeds. Deer eat weeds. Deer eat broadleaf weeds. They eat grass. They eat whatever else weeds there is in the plot. When you get into the late summer and you want to plant your fall plot, just turn it back in. You turn all that back into the soil. You overseed a little bit, and a plot, all your seed grows. It overshadows the weeds, and you don't have any weeds. You don't need herbicides all the time. I think deer hunters use more herbicides than freaking farmers. You can argue, herbicides don't hurt, us deer. I don't really care about that, but I don't want to use them because, my opinion, they're just not good. They're overused way too much. Is there a place for them? I believe there is, but me personally, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to not use them. Bu- 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 bu. Mini bike. Yep, mini bike. I forgot about that. Crystal, okay, so does that mean using Farmer's Touch NPK can be used to bypass the soil to fertilize? 100%. You can spray the NPK alone, or you can mix it with the Antler Grow. Best results is to mix them together because you're getting the micros and the fertilizer together in one. I've never sprayed the NPK by itself. I've sprayed Antler Grow by itself, but when I use the fertilizer, I mix it with the micros to spray it. You can spray each one independently, but I like mixing that together because you're giving that double punch with the fertility and the micros, so you get better results. But if I had to pick one of the two to spray, like just say you couldn't afford both of them or something, or whatever the reason might be that you don't want to buy both, I would choose the micros. Micros are more important. You'll get better results with that. The NPK is just like another added bonus to that. Both work together. You mix them the same, you'll get good results. With my plots, they're doing pretty well, but does spraying the Antler Grow bring the attractability to those areas fairly fast, other than me not spraying them at all for this year's hunt? When you spray, it becomes more palatable instantly. That plant, so like if you spray in the afternoon, okay, and then that next morning you get that dew on the leaf, that plant sucks those nutrients in. And it makes that available 100%. So right away, instantly, it's starting to work, because that plant actually ingests that nutrients. And a lot of people still don't understand how it works, and I've been like a broken record talking about it, but it's something that I'm just very passionate about, and it works. Numbers don't lie, tissue analysis samples don't lie. But there's a lot of products out there that say they're micronutrients, and it's a very, very minute amount, but it's mainly fertilizer. What it is it's a fertilizer product, and they add a very minute micronutrients to it. And there's no sticker and surfactant. The sticker and surfactant is so important because when you're spraying, and you're spraying the leaves, it dries instantly, and the surfactant loosens the tissues of the plant so that it can be ingested, and the sticker is there to feed the plant over time. So now you have the mineral stuck on the outside of the plant, but it's also on the inside of the plant, so it's like a double-edged sword. You're getting the best of both worlds. That's why it's there. If without the sticker and surfactant, it's a very poor application, because you have to continue to spray. A lot of these products you'll see spray every 10 days, every 14 days, every 10 days, spray as much as you want. And with Antler Grow, you don't have to do that. You spray once, you are good for 8 weeks. You are good for 2 months, and you don't have to spray again. Obviously, you can spray earlier than that to help boost the numbers up even more, but you don't have to. Those numbers start to wane down after 2 months. So if you're trying to grow deer, build a herd, and things like that, then yeah, you want to spray more because you're trying to keep those numbers, those numbers in the plant as high as you possibly can, because you're trying to grow deer. If you just want to casually spray, then yeah, just spray every 2 months. And then if you were to do a tissue sample analysis of that plant at the 2-month mark, you'll start to see the numbers start to go back down. They'll never leave the plant. They're always there, but they will go down after that 2-month mark and kind of like level out. But then you just spray again, it bumps back up. And then after 2 months, but the more you spray, the higher the numbers will stay. Thanks, Dave, for the info. No problem. Have you hunted with a crossbow in a tree stand? The bar is too low and can't see the deer with scope. I've never hunted with a crossbow. I'm not against crossbows, but right now I can still shoot a compound, so I will continue to do that as long as I possibly can. If I can't, pull my bow back, with the same poundage that I'm shooting, then I'll just continue to lower the poundage to really whatever the legal, limit is. And then if I can't do that anymore, then I will transition to a crossbow. But for now, though, I'll stick to the compound. I have a video coming out about that as well. Next couple of days, my bow setup, some arrows, the nocks that I use, and things like that. Wednesday, I have a video coming out about trail cameras. But yeah, looking good. Going hunting Wednesday. I'm gonna update, weekly hunting videos here coming up. Me and Chris will be getting together for some hunting as well. Some videos coming out for that. But if anybody has any more questions, fire away. But I think I'm getting close here to end. I got a few things to do this afternoon remaining. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and fire those away. I really appreciate you guys joining in tonight. I really appreciate that. And I'll make sure I didn't miss any. Again, if you guys want to subscribe to City Sticker Chris, you can do that. He helps me on the farm. And thank you to Jay, Living Everyday Outdoors, for sharing the live stream on Facebook. Chris as well. Living Everyday Outdoors, I know our deer look great this year. Our fawn drop was awesome too. A solid management plan is the way to go, for sure. And a lot of people, aren't into that type of thing, and that's fine too. I mean, you don't have to do it. When I was younger, I didn't really care, honestly. I just hunted. But now, as I get older and things like that, I get more and more into it. It's just fun to me, I want to try to see what works, see what doesn't work, build the herd, see if you can change things, see what attracts, see what doesn't. And it's just a fun process because it gets people together. It gets good people together, friends and things like that. And you guys can have fun with food plots, and it's just fun. T. Waterfield, good luck to you. I'm hunting in the Eastern Shore this weekend. Awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. John Penna, how do you keep the hogs from rooting your plots? That's my problem. John, I don't have hogs, so I don't really have a bunch of advice for you. I have hunted Florida before, and I know Jay would probably have some advice for that, living every day outdoors. He is there, John. So if Jay is still listening, he might have some helpful tips for you. Only thing I can really tell you is from what I've seen they did down there is overseed a lot, because the hogs are going to eat the seeds. Other than that, trapping them, trying to kill as many as you possibly can, is going to help as well. I think trapping them and killing them is really only going to work if everybody in the area is doing it. If just one person on that property is doing it, just on that one property, then I don't really think it's going to help a whole lot. I think everybody has to be on the same page to trap and kill, as many as you possibly can. Other than that, that's all I got for you, man. I'm sorry, but up here in the north, we don't deal with hogs at all. Jody Tucker, I planted big in BC this year. Need more rain. Hoping it's doing good. A lot of people need rain, man. It's dry everywhere. When I was in Kentucky, it's like a dust bowl. It's just so dry. It's crazy. All the tobacco and everything was just burning up. It's pretty sad. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. Thank you guys for joining in. I said I got a video coming out Wednesday. Stay tuned for that about trail cameras. I really appreciate you watching. And I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.